beach, and other people have done it for our boys. We will write their names in the sand, like I've done here. One of my friends did it in America when they went there. Josh, Harry, George, hi Ben, hi Leo, hi Sharon, hi there. I'm fighting and surviving, Steve, like I have done over the last 3 years. Thank you for asking. Hi Keith, Danny. And in the sand, it's got their names, and it's got murdered the 26th of the 1st, 2018. Now this will be left like this all day, obviously, until the water comes in later. And I do that in the hope that people, when they come on the beach, hi Stuart, will see that. And when I'm out here, if I have the boys' bands on, well, I've always got the bands on, if I have the badge on, someone may ask what it is about. And that's what I have to keep doing at the moment, keep pushing it for people to become aware of what happened to the boys, and for the fight that I have on my hand. Because my fight is to take these all singly on. Because if you take the corporation on, for example, the Metropolitan Police, then they have a corporation behind them, and you don't get any accountability. Without accountability, these things, murders, abuse, will continue. And that's one of the ways we can change things in this country. Let's go back to the weekend of this happening to 3 beautiful, beautiful, kind boys. Over that weekend, on the 26th and the 27th, sorry, the 27th and the 28th, you was fed lies, continuous lies, by the mainstream media. Now I know there's loads of stories like ours. Loads. See if I can turn this around. Does it turn it around? Sorry, it's quite hard to see. So loads of stories like ours out here that they feed you lies about. They never gave you one fact of what happened to our boys. They just gave you fiction. Fiction. That's what they fed you. Truth doesn't work in their fictional world of deception and lies. That's why it's always been important for me to be out here to tell you what is going on, in the hope that you can see that these people with presumed and assumed authority and power, what they're really about. But the main thing is you need to research it all yourself. You need to know that the police are not what you think they are. Many of you know they're just policy enforcement officers. Many of you know that. And one of the things you have to do, if you come across the police and they are abusing you or their power, like they've done to my family, like what they did to my son, how they treated him, certainly not with any dignity, how they ordered an autopsy on my son, and he didn't need that. The only time they don't need your consent for an autopsy in their realm is if they go to someone's house and they're found dead there and they don't know why, and that male or female has not been to the doctors for 14 days. they don't need consent then, and we can understand why, because they need to find out why that person died. They knew how our boys died. They knew. Yet they butchered them after, and I will use that word, because we had to ID our sons after autopsy, because they wanted to keep us in that trauma so we would not know or could not recognise what they was doing. So one thing I'll tell you before I finish this is, if you come across the police and they're abusing their power, make sure you're filming them, and make sure you get them in agreement to say that they are acting as a constable. Because if you look at the Justice and Criminal Act 2015, section 26, which is there to stop the police abusing their power, read the words, people. It all pertains to constable and not officer. You have to see the dual role that they are playing. That act, and we already know acts and statutes are not law, and it really, really isn't, but get them to agree that they are a constable on camera. And then if they're abusing their power, you can have them under section 26. If they say they're an officer, that act does not pertain to that. Now, my son was trespassed against, my offspring was trespassed against, so I have to take them all on singly, and I have to learn the law myself and then just pay someone else to assist me, but someone who knows what I know, because otherwise they stop you doing it. People who think barristers are here for us need to look at the Hillsborough case. You need to look at that. If the barristers were here for us after all those years, for those poor victims at Hillsborough that suffered terribly, the judge would not have been able to get away with throwing it out on a technicality, because the barristers would have been good enough to stop that happening. No. I know with our boys' case, we taking them on. We've got one chance to get it right. Sorry, I can't see the comments. I don't even seem to be scrolling up now. One chance I have to take this system on. So I have to make sure I have everything watertight, because the evidence is there, undeniable, not circumstantial, undeniable evidence, and they never gave no one in this country facts. They just told you in the media, this is what happened, and many believed it, just because the media told you without showing you one piece of evidence. So everyone, thank you for joining me as always. Sorry, it's a bit windy out here, and I will see you all soon.